hopefully my mic is on this time. Ba-ding. It goes to the title of this video. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb like PK. Don't be dumb like everybody out there. Are we good? Can we hear me in the chat? Good, we're good tonight. Oh my goodness, I was on a rant, an epic rant for 4 minutes till I decided to look down at the chat. But don't worry, you know what? There was only like 103 people I looked over listening to me not talk. That was great. So let's talk about what's going on. Anything fun happened this week? Anything at all? Geez, PokeRev made a video. PokeRev made a video, and every single YouTube content creator put PokeRev in the thumbnail of their videos. I know what you're doing. Hey, listen, I respect it. I respect the game, but make no mistake about it. I know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Everybody at home watching it knows what you're doing. I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. Then what happens? Pokemon puts out a press release that they're going to print Prismatic Evolutions to the ground. All the Timmies come out and they're just super happy about it, and they think, oh, all the prices are gonna crash instantly. And then I'm seeing people with hot takes literally posting booster boxes like ETBs at $100 and saying, look at this, the price has crashed. It's like it's a $100 ETB the day before release. That is not a crash. Oh man, the Timmies out there, the Timmies, when the market does retrace, if they think that $100 ETB for Prismatic Evolutions is a crash in market, well, guess what? They're not just Timmy. They are Captain Timmy. And because we're in space right now, they're not the captain of the USS Enterprise. Little Captain Timmy, he's the captain of the USS Bag of Dicks, because right now, that is what he's piling in. We are in for it. The craziness that's going on, the Prismatic Evolutions, it doesn't mean anything. We saw the same exact press release for Celebrations. Literally, you could might as well have copied and pasted. They might have said, what did we release for Celebrations? And they were like, copy, paste, remove the word Celebrations, and let's put in the word Prismatic Evolutions, and just dump it out to everybody, and everybody's like, oh, thank you, Pokemon. Oh, thank you. Oh, they're going to print this into oblivion. No. Nope, they're not. I know what you're thinking. What do you mean, PK? Of course they are. They got printers. The printers are on burr mode. There's slow, fast, really fast, and then burr mode. And they have it on burr mode, PK. They're printing more of this. Listen, there's going to be more waves of Prismatic Evolutions. There are going to probably be more waves of maybe Surgeon Sparks. Do you want to know what the issue is right now? We are in the moment of there's just not enough supply. So even if they turn on the printers and it just becomes Prismatic Evolutions, what the hell happens to Journey Together? Does Journey Together get underprinted because Prismatic Evolutions get all the printer allocation? Well, I don't think that's going to happen. So wait a second. You're telling me Journey Together, the booster box that literally sold out on PokemonCenter.com at MSRP, there's demand for that product? Yes, Timmy, there is demand for that. Shout out to Rattle. Rattle had a great take. Journey Together might be the set that actually hurts people, because shout out to Rattle. If you didn't watch Rattle's most recent video, go watch it. Rattle put up a really good point talking about Journey Together, that Journey Together is only made of one Japanese set. So usually sets are comprised of 2 Japanese sets. And Journey Together, it looks like it's only going to be comprised of 1 Japanese set. And Rattle put up a good point. The set before this one, that only was comprised of 1 Japanese set. I'll give you the Jeopardy. Yeah, okay. Well, enough of that. Was Obsidian Flames. How did Obsidian Flames do at release? And Rattle made all these points. I am just parroting these points, what Rattle said, but Obsidian Flames, a lot of people's complaints about Obsidian Flames was not that it was a bad set. It was a 5 Charizard set. Everyone always talks about, like, Charizard sets. Look at Flashfire, XY Flashfire. Oh, it's the best set ever. Well, guess what? It's the best set ever and the most expensive set because it had Charizards, but then Obsidian Flames had more Charizards. Well, what happened? It was a small set. And because it was a small set, there wasn't as many hits. So because there's not as many hits, when you actually do pull something good, you're more likely to complete that set. Rattle talks about in his video how he completed it after 2 cases. Well, Journey Together might run into that issue. And if that runs into that issue and it's too easy of a set to complete, it doesn't mean that people might want to buy it. People might not want to keep ripping it like absolutely crazy. Very similar to Obsidian Flames. I know. Nobody wants you to compare anything to anything in this hobby. But now, doesn't change anything. Journey Together is still going to be in demand. There will not be enough of it. Whatever they do put out at release, nobody will have completed that set. Everybody will want it. They will want all of it. And then guess what happens right after Journey Together? The Team Rocket set. And you want to know what's going to just break this hobby is the Team Rocket set. Whatever demand you think is enough. I don't know what that number is. It's not 12 billion cards because we've seen 12 billion cards. I don't know how much. Team Rocket's going to break this hobby. So where's the printer allocations coming from? So they're just going to print Prismatic Evolutions? Well, what about how they evolved? What about Twilight Masquerade? What about Surging Sparks? Do you remember Surging Sparks? Surging Sparks was the most recent set, but Prismatic is coming out tomorrow. We might as well just call Surging Sparks at this point right now in the hobby, it's vintage. Anything pre-Prismatic Evolutions is vintage at this point. Everyone always has that argument. What's considered vintage, PK? Is it the line? Do you draw it at black and white? So is it pre-2010, 2011 timeline? So is it the, or is it just WotC? Or is it the Nintendo stuff? Or is it the Diamond and Pearl? Or is it the Heart Gold Soul Silver stuff? Or is it the Platinums? Or do you cut it at black and white, PK? Is that where vintage kind of starts? No, Timmy. Vintage is anything pre-Prismatic Evolutions because that's how fast this hobby is moving. So what happens to our reprints? So you're telling me we're printing Prismatic Evolutions to the absolute ground, but yet we still need Surgeon. We still need Twilight. We're starting to watch all these other sets start to run away as well. What about 151? I thought we were getting even more 151. People were saying, well, PK, maybe Bloom and Water's collection isn't the last reprint of 151. Maybe we see more of it. Oh, because obviously, you think the 151 reprint is enough to quell demand? Have you seen the Costco videos? The people standing in line like absolute savages, just full out sprinting, just doing their very best Forrest Gump impression. And you got Jenny in the background. She's at the door. They open up the sliding doors at Costco, and there he is. You just see Forrest. The only difference is Forrest doesn't have a little checkered plaid shirt on. He doesn't have a little Forrest Gump stupid hat on. He has a flat brim hat. He's wearing Nikes. He's a stonk dogger, and he's sprinting though. He's doing the Forrest Gump, and you know what? It's just ironically, his name is Forrest, and ironically, his girlfriend is Jenny, and she probably has AIDS. I'm not saying she definitely has AIDS, but come on. She has AIDS. So it's the same scenario. It's the same guy. He's got the same first name, and his girlfriend is probably kind of a whore and probably has AIDS. Just saying, but she's standing at the door, and she's screaming, and you could hear it in the video. You could hear it. She's yelling, run, Forrest, run! And he's just running as fast as he can to those Bloom collection boxes, and he gets there, and you got somebody in the background, they're yelling, oh, limit of 10, limit of 10. Another guy's yelling, no, limit of 5, oh, and all the just Forrests and all the Timmies and the Captain Timmies are just, they're gobbling it all up. What? I thought Bloom and Water was supposed to be the savior of 151. You were currently in a restock of 151. And did you see TCG player prices lately? Well, guess what? TCG player prices are just keep going up. They're not going down. This is the problem. You told me that after the reprints happen, prices are going to go down. But do you want to know what's happening? Unprecedented demand is just destroying all rules for everything. So you can't get 151. That's not possible. But you're going to reprint Prismatic Evolutions, but you look at Surge and Sparks. What about Surgeons? It's just, there's not enough printers. There's just not enough. And everybody says, oh, well, hey, PK, it's not just Pokemon. You remember Millennium Print Group? Pokemon bought Millennium Print Group, so they own the printers. Well, guess what, Timmy? Millennium Print Group just doesn't print Pokemon. They still have other clients. They still have other requirements. It's not just Pokemon that they print. Now, they're printing a lot of it, as much as they can. 12 billion plus cards. Maybe it's going to be 14 billion cards. I don't know. But it's a lot. But it's not enough. It's not enough. And I can't believe we're back to the Frosted Caribou videos again. Poor the collecting, the collectors, the hobby's being ruined by everybody. And you want to know the best part of Rev's video? You got to make it to the end to hear the best part of the video, which I don't think a lot of people made it to the end of Rev's video. But at the end of Rev's video, do you know what his takeaway was? You could go for it. I think it's like a 25-minute video. Go to the 24-minute mark. Yeah, I know. TikTok brains. It's impossible to make it from the beginning of a video to make it to the end of the video. But if you go to the 24-minute mark of Rev's video, I know. Time out. Whoa, PK. Just give me the cliff notes. I don't want the cliff notes. I want you to make a YouTube short about reading the cliff note book, and then after you make the short, I want somebody on TikTok to steal your content and then repost it onto TikTok, because no offense, your short was too long, PK. You're allowed up to 60 seconds on a short and you gave us 42 seconds. You got to compress it down to 14 seconds for me, or I just can't handle it. So, all right, Timmy, well, guess what? At the 24-minute mark of a 25-minute Rev video, which might as well be an eternity because it's past that 11 to 15-minute mark, which YouTube is capable of, but guess what Rev says? He goes, everyone takes a little blame for it. That was his takeaway. And then you know what he else said? Verbatim, to quote Rev, he said, including myself, meaning him. He was taking blame. He said the blame is to be spread out on everyone. And you know what? Just like I just ranted in my last video about black and white, nothing is black and white. Everything is about the gray area in between. You better bet your ass it's the gray area. Everybody has a little to do with it, whether it's the investing content, whether it's the ripping content. It's just everyone is a little bit like involved. Everyone has a piece. And the best thing too is all the investing channels too. I love the contradictory statement on some channels where they say, I'm just a little channel. I do not impact the market. Everyone thinks I'm a bad guy. Everyone thinks I impact the market. And then as they're going through the live stream, like right after they just verbal diarrhea all over their desk, all over their computer screen, all over their camera, just saying how they're just a small content creator and they don't have any impact in the market. And then literally after that verbal diarrhea was spewing from their mouths, you know what they do? They go to the chat and they read it, and then they see a comment from Captain Timmy, and little Timmy says, you know, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have made all this money in the hobby. I have to thank you so much for helping me. You helped me put away this product. Thank you. Thank you, content creator. And then said content creator, after you just spewed the verbal diarrhea saying how he doesn't affect the market, and goes, oh, you know what? I love to see those comments. Those are my favorite comments. Yeah, when you guys are emailing me or messaging, or I do like little consultations and stuff. Oh, guys, I love that. I love that. Thank you. I every time I hear that, it means so much. It's like, whoa. You do affect the market, and you don't affect the market. Like, that's the thing. Like, let's just take ownership of it, and that's what Rev's point of his video was. So, shout out to Nikki Slavich says, PK eats T-bone steaks, lists barbell weights. I told you, I got some ranting to do tonight. We're just on the freaking Prismatic announcement. But Rev had a great video, and it was just everybody's at fault. I'm at fault. You're at fault. Everybody. If you guys have anything sealed in your basement, you're at fault. But do you want to know the thing that nobody's talking about? The hottest take that should exist? Do you know that most cards, most Pokemon product in the entire world, everyone likes to look at secondary market, the TCG players and everything. Do you want to know what the reality is? The reality is the most product gets bought at or below MSRP. That is the majority of all the product in this hobby gets purchased at or below MSRP. That's where you're going to lose everybody. They're going to go, whoa, PK, I've been on TCG Player, I've been watching the charts, and the charts, they got lines, and those lines, they kind of look like rocket ships, and I wish the lines were green. I don't know why TCG Player can't input color schemes into their charts, but PK, it's green. I see it. My eyes, I'm colorblind, I'm looking at the chart, but it's green, and they look like rocket ships, and the line's going only going up. And then I went on the TCG Player, and I looked at all the seals, and PK, there was like 20 seals today. There was 50 seals yesterday, and it's like, Well, little Timmy, guess what? The majority of all the sales are your Walmarts, your Targets, your Best Buys, your GameStops, and your PokemonCenter.coms. And guess what? Every single one of those places that I just listed are all MSRP. Sure, you could go on Walmart and it's not sold by Walmart. It's through some third-party seller and it's not technically Walmart. Blah, blah, blah. No. The actual majority. Go on the Rattle Discord, all the restock bots. The majority of all the product in the hobby gets sold at or below MSRP. That's it. That's the fact of the matter. The problem is there's a word, and I love the word, and it starts with the letter G, and I don't know when I'm going to do my 7 deadly sins of the Pokemon hobby. I should have done it, but you know what? I could pull up what are the 7 deadly sins, but one of them starts with the letter G, and that is greed. Greed is one of the 7 deadly sins. And just the problem is, in this hobby, people are very, 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 very greedy. That's it. That's all it boils down to. People are greedy. They want the newest. They want the shiniest thing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to go back. I hear people all day, every day. I love the artwork, PK. I'm a collector, PK. I just care about it. It's like, do you care about the language? I'll take English, but I'll settle for Japanese. Well, you could have the artworks cheaper if you want it in another language. And they're like, yeah, I mean, I like the artwork, but I don't like it that much. Well, why don't you like it? Well, I don't know. I don't think other people really like it. But you like the artwork, right? Yeah. And then I'm just like, can you just say that the other cards in the other languages aren't worth as much money? Can we just say that? Can we just get it out? And then they kind of just look at you like, yeah, but I'm a collector, PK. And it's like, you're not a collector. You just want whatever everybody else wants. And everyone else wants Prismatic Evolutions. And guess what? Because it's the best set ever. It's the only modern set. We only have one modern set. Everything else is vintage. You just want the modern stuff. I get it. You could go buy Shrouded Fable right now. There's people fire sailing it. You want shit for below MSRP, like you're tired of, shelves not having product on it. You could have Shrouded Fable if you want it. You can still have your Scarlet and Violet bases and stuff for super cheap. Temple Forces, Paradox Rift. Yeah, the stuff's going up, but it's still less than the MSRP of booster boxes. A lot of this stuff is still less than $5 per pack. SIRs, if you want SIRs, there's plenty of SIRs that are sub $20. You can just go get whatever you want. But that's not what people really mean. It's just not. It is just simply not what people mean. What people mean is they just want the newest thing. And eventually, Prismatic will not be the newest thing. And people will want it for a while. Listen, this is Groundhog's Day. Celebrations ETBs at release, super expensive. Shining Fates pre-orders, $120 pre-order prices for Shining Fates. Guess what? Shining Fates is vintage now. Nobody cares about vintage stuff. Shining Fates is vintage. Who cares? Who the fuck cares about Shining Fates? Nobody cares about this shit. Well, everyone cared about it at the time. And you remember Champion's Path? Everyone cried about Champion's Path, that they couldn't get Champion's Path. Champion's Path, think about it. They cried. Frosted Caribou made videos. The hobby was in an uproar because they couldn't get Champion's Path and Vivid Voltage and Battle Styles and Shining Fates. Those are the sets we are talking about, people. But they're vintage now, so nobody wants to go back. All the sets I just mentioned, yeah. Celebrations, $10 a pack. Or, excuse me. Celebrations, Champion's Path, they're a little bit more. But Vivid Voltage, you can still pick up cheap. Remember the Chunk of Chew, Battle Styles, you could still pick it up on PokemonCenter.com. Nobody wants it. The hobby, there's just the dumbest amount of anger. But I'm just telling you right now, it's not getting better in the near term. Now, in the long term, it will get better. Once Prismatic is vintage. Once Journey Together is vintage. Once Team Rocket is vintage. Then these sets will start to depreciate in value, and then people will have them. The problem is people want what they can't have. The amount of people that I'm sure exist out there who had a million chances at 151, a million chances, just didn't want it. They just didn't want it because no one else wanted it. Shout out to Josh, the old card shop. Josh, buddy, you in Retrospect, if you are out there, Josh in Retrospects made lives months ago talking about, maybe a year ago at this point, talking about one of the most undervalued plays in the hobby. It was 3 cards I talked about, well, mainly 2 cards. The Mew EX promo from Celebration, or the Mew EX promo from 151 from the UPC promo, and the Mewtwo promo. They're both sealed. And at the time when they made that video, the Mewtwo was selling for $1.25, and the Mew was selling for $2. And Josh was on the video and he goes, I cannot believe that this Mew from the 151 UPC is $2 a piece, and I cannot believe that this Mewtwo is $1.25. So you're telling me for $3.25 I get both of these promos from 151, one of the most hype sets? And Retro's like, yeah, it's freaking crazy, Josh. And I think both those guys made big positions. I hope they did. But like that was all real. Like that was the market. $2 now, but now that's the thing. Some vintage goes down, but then some vintage singles go up. Some vintage singles go up. Those are vintage singles at this point. Those went up. But it's like, come on, guys. Where are the people that want stuff when it's cheap? You could get cheap shit right now. Go buy all the Scarlet and Violet base you want. Go buy all the Shrouded Fable you want. But it's just, it doesn't have the expensive card in it. Everyone looks at the Umbreon. It's expensive. People want it. The amount of people in this hobby right now is insane. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm sorry, the printing that they're going to do, even if they print one set, it's just going to hurt another set. The only thing Pokemon could do is maybe what they did to quell demand in the past was they held back all that product when we saw the release of, Surge, Fusion Strike, Chill and Rain, Evolving Skies, and what was the third one? Battle Styles. And they had to hold it back because they released all 4 of those at the reprints at the same time. Maybe that's what it will take. Pokemon has to consciously hold back product and then dump it, but then even warehouse space. But that was the conspiracy theory at the time. It was like, how come leading up to all these boxes we didn't have anything? And at distribution, there was nothing at distribution. But then all of a sudden, Fusion Strike, Chill and Rain, Battle Styles, and Evolving Skies, they all dropped at the same time. And it was just like, was Pokemon purposely holding all this shit back? Like, how did we get dumped with 4 different sets and we didn't even have 1 at distribution? Now we got 4, and then people ended up getting crushed. And then because people were over leveraged, they had to just get their money out of it. And then it really, especially Chill and Rain and Fusion Strike, we really, really saw where it was also part of the wave system, which was a little different. And maybe we'll come back to the wave system. The wave system sure did get us out of the last, problems we had. But now you can say, well, they're kind of doing the wave system right now for Prismatic. They're doing the wave system, maybe not with total products, but with individual products. You got ETBs are getting released now, and then later on we're going to get the mystery collection boxes, and we're going to get the booster bundles and stuff. It's just, we're very constrained right now. We're just super, super constrained with what's available, and it's just unprecedented demand right now. The unprecedented demand is insane. There are so many people entering this hobby every single second of every day. And one of the things that is driving that is the money. People are seeing the 151 craziness on TikToks, and these are getting millions of views, and people are just asking the question of why. And it's a good question. Again, we are deep in the hobby. You understand what's going on. You understand the most recent sets and what distributors at MJ Holden stocks Walmart. It's Alliance that stocks Target, and you actually know things that no other person in the world really should know, because why it doesn't affect you at any. I know more about distribution not having distribution than any Pokemon enthusiast should know, because I listen to all the people that have it, and it's just we're engaged, but they're the surface level people, they're just seeing the craziness and they're going, why? They're asking that simple question of why are people going crazy about it? And then they're asking the question why, and then people say, well, all this is worth money. And people are like, well, what do you mean it's worth money? It's like, you could just go in the store, you can buy it off said store shelf, you could go home, list it on eBay, and make free tendies. And people are like, I love free tendies. It's the same thing. It's just, we're in it. We are in it. We were in it. Listen, I put this out there. I was streaming the other night on Fanatics. Real quick, selfish plug. January 25th. So Saturday, January 25th. Me and Mr. Dan Catch 'em All Collectibles. Way too tall for my basement. That's okay. Dan's going to either be sitting right here. Dan's going to be sitting right here. Maybe he's sitting in the PK captain's chair. And he'll be manning the SS bag of dicks for, at the helm. Who knows? But either way, Dan will be here January 25th. Me and Dan will be streaming live on Fanatics, and we will be doing a unlimited base set booster box break. So we're going to be auctioning off all 36 packs, all auctions starting at $1. That is very, very exciting. And I think it will be... So, if you get... All right, I'm tangenting right now, but I will try to go back to what I was saying. Talking about, like, all the new people coming in. But I will tell you something. It will be a nice... weird roundabout way, and it will have taken me 25 years to maybe make the argument that I'll have finally, like, in a way, completed my journey. So if you guys don't know, I got back into the hobby in 2012 when I was working in the oil field, living in a man camp, just buying base set Raichus, because I never pulled a Raichu as a child. Pulled a lot of things. I pulled, like, the Charizard, the Blastoise, the Venusaur. I was super lucky with my pulls. Never pulled the Raichu. Never got to pull it. And it was because of being bored and just... I was buying currencies, I was buying movie posters, and I was buying Pokemon cards when I was living in this man camp. And the first card I went back was buying that base set Raichu because I knew I didn't pull it as a kid. And it was because of buying that one card spiraled me into the madness of the shell of a human being you see right now on the screen in front of you. This shell was created from that. And it's a long journey from that till now. And I've never pulled that base set Raichu. Ever. Not before I was, or like before the crazy, like anytime. I just never pulled it. And hopefully, God willing, in that booster box break, I will pull the Raichu. Now, I will be pulling it for somebody else, but it doesn't matter. Maybe, just maybe, I'll finally just get the satisfaction of pulling a base set Raichu. And it will only have been 26 years in the making. 26 years in the making, or even longer than that, 1999, longer than that, 26 years in the making of my Pokemon journey finally coming full circle. And I hope that on January 25th, me and Dan, while we were sitting in the PK Grandma's basement, that I could finally, my collection journey, my Pokemon journey could finally come full circle. That is my hope. All right, that is that. But woo, back to the Timmies. Like, that's the thing. It's just, things are expensive right now. And people like things that are expensive, and people are going to keep wanting things that are expensive, and until something could happen to stop making things expensive. But now, going back to 2020, and this is one of the questions now, what I was going to say is, somebody in the chat brought up this question. They asked me a question. I thought it was a good one. They said, PK, do you think the hobby is now crazier in... Because you saw crazy prices, like we saw Vivid Voltage Booster Box creep up to $280. I know people forget that. $280, yes. Vivid Voltage Booster Boxes, because demand was crazy, hype was crazy. Vivid Voltage Booster Boxes, in comparison to Surging Sparks Booster Boxes, kind of look pretty similar, but it doesn't matter. Prices ran up, and people said, is it the same now as it was then? And I said, it is, but it isn't. And I'll tell you why it isn't. Because if you took the amount of product that exists, the amount of product that is printed today, and you were able to somehow magically take that supply, or at least the amount of supply that exists today, and dump that amount of supply into 2020, dump that supply into the hype of 2020, it kills that hype. I believe that. If you had this amount of, how much is being printed today, being printed in 2020, there is no hype. There is no 2020 boom. Sure, we maybe would have saw vintage singles. We definitely would have saw like a little uptick, but nothing like we're seeing, or nothing like we did see, because a lot of that was, just product availability like restraints. That was a real big factor. And the print runs just weren't there. But now, if you were to take 2020's print runs and drop 2020 print runs into now, you would cut supply crazy drastically. And Surgeon Sparks would be $1,000+ booster box easily. So it would easily be $1,000 booster box. You would be looking at $6,000 Surgeon Sparks booster box cases if you had 2020 print runs dropped in today. So that's the thing. But now one of the things that I don't feel like people talk about enough is, well, what came out of 2020? Well, you got a lot of people left. Shitload of people left 2020. But it's the same thing I said then, and it's the same thing I'm going to say now, and the same thing I'm going to continue to say. For the amount of people that joined versus the amount of people that left, the amount of people that left were way less than the amount of people that joined. So that means you had a ton of people enter the hobby in 2020. Yeah, some fell off, but a ton of them stayed. So by the time we got to the beginning of this crazy hype, all those people were well established in the hobby. And I've said this before, I'm going to repeat myself, but that's a seasoned collector at that point. That is somebody that's now been in the hobby for 4 years. 4 years in this hobby is a long time. Pulling back timelines, if somebody who was in the hobby during the boom of 2020, if they got back in 2016 during Pokemon Go, they were there for a while. During the Pokemon Go boom, which was in 2016, if they got back in 2012, they were there for a while. 4 years is a long time. So you had all those people that continued to stay along, just continued along this journey, continued along this, just riding along this rocket ship, riding along this freight train that just keeps moving down the track. And then they were all positioned for 2024. And then they started buying, and they kept buying. And the thing is people just kind of also say, oh, supply, nobody wants like the stuff that's cheap. And I'll say that too. But like the same way as I say nothing is black and white in the hobby, where it's kind of contradicting myself, but there is the gray area. Like there were still people buying. Make no mistake about it. And I think a lot of those people that were buying were just the people that had been along for this crazy journey. And they're like, I could get $100 booster boxes. Sure, I'll keep buying. And they felt they had time. Father Time's the only undefeated person in the history of this hobby, and people just felt they had time, and it was just like, I'll scoop up a booster box here, I'll scoop up a booster box here. Oh, this random website, they look like they're not too sketchy. $80 Scarlet and Violet booster boxes, sure, I'll pick up a case, why not? And then those people were doing it, and they were just yum, 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 eating up that supply slowly but surely. Just like I said that this hobby is like a freight train barreling down the tracks, and you better get off the track because the train's coming through. Well, the actual investor, the people that watch this channel, the people that who continue to watch this channel as I walk to the valley of the $79.95 booster box, they're not a freight train, but they are the little engine that could, and they're just chugging, and they just keep going. That little engine that could, just like out of Major Pain. It's the same exact little engine that could. And then Charlie just popping up all out of... I'm not going to get into my Major Pain rant. But that's this hobby. It's just... But those people are just eating up the supply as we go along. And then by the time we got to all these new people flooding in, all those people were seasoned collectors. And they're like, oh... I've seen this before. It's like that meme. You ever seen the movie Back to the Future? Where Michael J. Fox is like, I've seen this one. And everybody's sitting at the table. They kind of look at Michael J. Fox and like, what do you mean you've seen this one? He's like, oh, I've seen it on a rerun. And they're like, what's a rerun? The people at the table asking Michael J. Fox, what is a rerun? That is the new collectors. Like, what do you mean a rerun? We've never seen this before. And then Michael J. Fox just kind of looks around and he's like, oh, shit. I think a lot of those people, and me included, we looked around at that table and we went, oh shit. Like, we know exactly how this is going to play out, but nobody else sitting at this same kitchen table, no one knows. And that's where we are right now. So you got so many people freaking out. You got so many new people. Just the amount of people that think they know what's going on and they don't know. But this is the thing, like, nothing is instant. Nothing is overnight. There will be no instant correction. It is. I've heard people talking about 3 weeks out. 3 weeks out for like Prismatic Evolutions. People are talking about. It's like 3 weeks. What sort of dust are you smoking? Shout out to Spicy Boys TV. The finest of dust. Like, what? What? 3 weeks? That is your timeline, you think, by the end of this month? End of February? Or, sorry, the beginning of February, you think, like, our supply issues are going to be solved? Did you not see the Bloomin' Waters Costco restocks? What are you talking about? 3 weeks. It's going to be months and into potentially years. But the same way as I just told you, in 2020, you had a bunch of people after the crazy hype happened. A lot of those people fell off, but you had people just hopped on that little engine that could and kept chugging along. Well, guess what's going to happen after 2025? Eventually, some of this hype will die down, because I'll tell you right now, hype like this cannot run into perpetuity, because if it runs into perpetuity, Surge and Sparks booster box are like $10,000 pretty soon. If just simple compounding gains, like, you can't just have a booster box compound 100% gains over and over and over again into perpetuity, into whatever is foreverness, whatever is just eternity. You can't have that. That's just the math. The math isn't mathing on that one. So you need pullbacks, or you need stuff to run stagnant. Otherwise, you wind up with $10,000 booster boxes. That is the simple fact of the matter right there. So you just can't have that. It's not possible. There's not enough money that exists to make those sort of numbers possible. But it doesn't matter, because you're going to have a bunch of people probably will fall off. But guess what? You're going to have a lot more people that stayed. So that number is even that much bigger than 2020. And then those people are going to keep marching down the track. And they're just going to keep little engine in that could. And even in the down periods and whatever slow turns we get, all the new people that are now like the old new people, whatever. Yeah, I can't even like keep track of old new people, 2020 people that are new. So the old people from 2020 are now the new people from 2020 are the seasoned people of 2024, but the new people of 2025 will eventually be the seasoned people of 2029. And then the people that were around in the people that are around in 2020 might as well be the Gary King Pokemons of the hobby, because at that point in 2029, they're now going to be around dealing with this market for the last real quick, son of a Mewtwo, I can't click on your chat because I'll jump to the bottom of the chat. But, oh wait, he said, say it louder for the folks in the back. But, yeah, there'll just be people that will be around, and we're just going to keep adding people. And the little engine that could, we just keep adding. It was just a little engine, it was just a little caboose for a while, but that train just keeps getting longer. But man, that little engine, it just doesn't stop. And that locomotive, which is Pokemon, is barreling down the tracks, and we just don't care. Just don't care. But, like, that's the thing. I'm hearing people say, like, what's Pokemon got left? How much gas does it have in the tank? How much longer can Pokemon last? Is it a month? Is it a year? Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? And it's just, my favorite quote comes from, seeing how I mentioned Gary King Pokemon, and I've mentioned this on multiple lives. My favorite quote in the hobby is from Gary King Pokemon. Gary forever has been on record saying that even if Pokemon tomorrow never sold another pack, this hobby still has 20 years on it. And that's without another pack being printed tomorrow. Just because of the people that are in the hobby now, 20 years from now will still want this stuff. So the hobby even has 20 years after the last pack is printed. We are far away from that. We are far away from the last pack being printed. So then, we got everybody now. We got these new generations. We got kids that were around in 2010. So first you got people that were around in 2016. You have people that were around in Pokemon Go, the 99 generation. It's just, you're compounding generational collectors and hobby enthusiasts. And now we're starting to compound in the fact that money is meaningless in this country right now. At least in America, like, money is meaningless. You can send $6 billion to a country and not even be able to account for it. Like, you sent extra $6 billion. That is the world we are living in right now, today, at the time of recording this video. Money is fake. Money is meaningless. And there's just so much of it. But not only is there so much of it, now you got people coming in of that newer generation with new wealth. And there's a lot of $10 bills right now floating around. There's a lot of $20 bills, a lot of $100 bills, a lot of $1,000 bills. And then you got people trickling into the higher end. It's just, there's that saying, and I don't really love the saying, but man, it is true in this situation. Rising tides lift all ships. And guess what? We're all in a ship right now. Hopefully you're not in the SS bag of dicks, but you might be in the SS bag of dicks. But hey, you still got Captain Timmy. And the ship's not sinking. You haven't hit an iceberg yet, but you're going right at it. And you got the guy in the watchtower, and he's screaming down. He's like, iceberg dead ahead. And Captain Timmy just doesn't give a fuck. He's yelling down to the coal boiler room, and he's like, shovel more dicks into the furnace. And there's just somebody, and he's just shoveling dicks into the USS bag of dicks. And it's just going faster and faster and faster. And that iceberg is dead ahead, but it just doesn't matter. Because maybe the problem is in the Titanic, they hit the iceberg from the side, and it ripped open the side. Maybe if you just hit it dead on, you just split that iceberg right down the middle, and you just keep on going. There's no stopping you. Maybe that's just where people are at. And it's working right now. You can't... All right, another video. So many topics. Next thing. Did you see the Dave's Ramsey video? Somebody called in, lost $26,000 on Pokemon cards. Oh, thank God. I was so happy. I've been waiting. I just wanted to find the guy. I said it before. Thank you. Find me the guy who's lost money in Pokemon in the last couple of years. I just want to meet that guy. I want to hear, like, what did he buy? How did you lose money in this hobby? Because everything went up. How can you say that? It's like everything across the board. Everything went up. What did you buy? Are you the largest stakeholder of, I don't know. What's the stupid player box? Battle stadiums? Are you not, or whatever they're called? Are you the largest? Like, what did he buy? And I watched the video, and everybody was talking about it. Man, that video was posted in 16,000 different locations across 30 different platforms. That video was everywhere. And it was $26,000. The guy, finally, I found him. I found the guy. And I go and I watch the video, and the dude didn't even lose money on Pokemon. He lost money buying followers on Instagram, and he lost money doing giveaways on whatnot. And I was like, even the biggest Timmy that exists, I finally found him. The guy that lost $26,000 on the hobby didn't even lose money in Pokemon cards. He just lost money by giving away product on giveaway streams on whatnot. I was just like, damn it. Damn it. Can't even find one person that lost money in this hobby. I thought that was finally the person. And now, as soon as you watch the video, he's like, what do you think? He just thought he was cool. He's like buying followers and doing big giveaways and lost $26,000 worth of giveaways. And like, I was like, damn it. So close. So close to finally finding the ultimate Timmy. Man, that was a disappointing video. But it just proves it, like, once more. It's like, nobody's kind of losing right now. And it's, you can't have stuff just, nobody loses, right? Like, or can ya? And if you can, when does it stop? I'm hearing whispering. I gotta be real careful what I say about this. Fuck it. I'm not gonna say names. And maybe I'm just making it. You know what? Everything that I'm saying right now, just assume I'm making it up and I'm just speaking out of my ass. But I've heard like rumblings of institutional money trickling into the hobby, and not just in the traditional sense, like how you were thinking institutional money, because institutional money in this hobby is they're going to sell you the shovels, meaning they're going to sell the shovels, like they're going to build out the platforms, they're going to build out your different auction platforms, and they're going to sell you the cards. Like there's been institutional money and stuff like that for a while, and now I'm hearing different institutional money, and it's like a lot of hums. That's interesting. No, probably made that up. Probably. Definitely made that up. 100% not factual. But what if? What if? What if? What if? Tinfoil hat, tinfoil fedora. Shout out to Mason, old Mr. Cardinal Gaming. Tinfoil fedora. How much money do you need in this hobby to sway this market? And then you break it down and you're like, I need like $1,000. They're like, well, what do you mean, PK, you need $1,000? It's like, I can just buy one card, have it as a new comp, and I just could create a new price point of a card. And they're like, no, you can't. But bet your ass you can. And it's like, I think it takes like $1,000 to sway some stuff. And then it's like, well, what if you had 10,000? It's like, oh, I could sway a lot. Well, what if you had 100,000? I could sway a lot more. What if I gave you 1,000,000? Well, shit. Hold my beer. I could sway a real lot of stuff. What if I gave you $10 million, PK? Well, I could control the hobby. I could, one man, control the hobby. Well, it's like, how much money is in Pokemon? Well, it's the #1 largest media franchise in the world. Trading cards accounts for like whatever 30% of their total revenue. Those are big numbers, PK. You told me for $10 million you think you could control the entire market? Yup, I do. $10 million, I think I could control the market. Moving stuff up and down at my whim. I could do whatever I wanted in this hobby. I could target anything I wanted if you gave me a $10 million bankroll. I believe that. There's some stuff I would just stay away from. Like the super, super high-end stuff, I'd probably stay away from it. But then maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I would dip my toes in there too. Maybe just... It doesn't take a lot of money to sway the biggest media franchise with the biggest hype and the amount of YouTube channels and people talking. It's like the dollar amounts that are required. In a hypothetical situation, of course. Is it a lot? And it's like, but why would they do it? Because they make so much more money too? Like, that's the question. It's like, well, even if they could take 10 million and turn it into 30 million, like, is it worth their time? And then it's just like, maybe you just don't understand. Like, people just want to watch the world burn sometimes. Maybe. Some people are just lighting the match. But again, that's all made up. None of that was true. That's just tinfoil fedora, tinfoil hat. Because no institutional money. But it's like, what else was I going to say? 2025. It's just a start. I think that's what we should have titled this video. But don't be dumb. Water's not a chemical. Some people are dumb. Some people think water is a chemical. But it's not. Dan? Where's Dan? Dan's not here yet, but Dan will be here on the 1st, or the 25th. January 25th, Dan will be here doing a base set booster box break with us. We're going to have a lot of other cool stuff. We're going to have a half art Mario Pikachu and PSA Gem Mint 10 starting at a dollar auction. We're going to have a bunch of sealed product. We're going to do real crazy shit. It's going to be the most ridiculous, dumbest stream that we've ever had. When we did our first stream, me and Dan were super new to streaming. I stream 5 nights a week now. I've been doing that for months. I figured it all out. I got a good process. It's going to be a lot different. It's going to be a way different stream, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and there's going to be a lot of deals to be had. There's going to be a lot of sealed buy it now sections, and you might see some terrestrial. You will see Prismatic Evolutions, some Prismatic at MSRP. 100% guarantee it. You will see some Prismatic in the buy it now for MSRP. Now, will it all get dropped at once? Nope, but it will be there. We'll have Prismatic ETBs for MSRP. They're going to be dropping throughout the night. Maybe we'll tell people. Maybe we won't. Maybe it'll just be the fiend out there. It'll just be refreshing the buy it now section. And when they come up, they're just going to instantly be scooped up. But we're going to do cool stuff, man. It's going to be a cool stream. I want a lot of you guys there. It's going to be fun. Me and Dan are going to be live before we do that stream. We're going to be live on the channel. Dan will be sitting right next to me. We'll go live, and then we'll probably just feed right into there. If you guys want to just come hang out, come hang out. Base set booster boxes are not for you. Shout out to Jim from Z&G Emporium. Should we do this? We'll look at Jim. Let me just keep shilling myself. People will hate it when I talk about, like, anything I'm doing in this hobby. God, people just hate. But I don't blame them. Why would you not? Let's look at this. We'll go back to old Jim Carson. There he is. Old Jimbo right here. Old Jim Carson. Look at this. Even if you buy a light pack and you're lucky enough to grade this baby in a PSA 10, $1,200 for a graded light unlimited Charizard pack. Don't forget about vintage. This is ultra vintage. I don't even know. I can't even. I wasn't even. Most people weren't alive back then. I think Abraham Lincoln. I think, what, 16th president of the United States? Abraham Lincoln was president when base set was out. Maybe it was George Washington. Or maybe it was still technically the Continental Congress. Maybe I don't think we had signed we had signed the Declaration of Independence, but I don't think Congress had signed anything yet. So I think technically it was still just like president under the Declaration of Independence, or George Washington kind of president under Congress. So I think this predates George Washington, and if my math serves me correct, I'm thinking that's how history works. I think that's how the timeline of this hobby works. But yeah. All right. That is my rant. It only took me 50 minutes to get through it. Now we're going to read all the chat until I make it to the bottom of the chat. And then when I make it to the bottom of the chat, then, and maybe then, will I sign off. Maybe not. Yes, we got a lot of people telling me, don't be dumb, PK. Rant 2 better be better than rant number 1, Justin D said. We got Basic Trainer in the chat. Mr. Basic Trainer. Basic, I still got on my to-watch list. Basic Trainer did a MetaZoo rant. Basic Trainer, it's been a while. Look at my watch. It's imaginary, but a lot of things in this hobby are imaginary right now. Prices are fake. I'm fake. This is AI. You ever hear the conspiracy theory about Avril Lavigne? That Avril Lavigne like died in like 2003, and then she was just replaced with like her assistant, and then her assistant just went on. It's like one of the few conspiracy theories that I'm like kind of believing in. But the real PK died. This is just an AI generated hologram. So it's gonna be interesting when Dan's sitting here, because you guys don't understand. Dan's a robot. I'm a hologram. Dan's a robot. You're gonna be buying cards from a robot and a hologram. Peak hobby? Peak hobby. We peaking. We booming. Booming? Question mark? Yes. Rocket ship emoji. We don't even talk in English anymore. Sometimes Dan, I one time was talking to Dan on the phone, and he just started beeping like ones and zeros at me. I'm just like, what, Dan? And then I just like hear like system reboot, and I'm like, Dan, did you just robot out on me? And he's like, oh, sorry, PK. Anyways, back to the spreadsheet. We got Rattle Pokemon in the chat said, can we hire a lip reader to preserve the last one? All right. We got everyone telling me that I'm loud and clear, so thankfully I didn't go another 52 minutes just talking into the wall. Mick says, dumb is the only way I know how to be PK, yes. Jimbo Slay says, gotta feed the algorithm. Omni Pokins said, took an elbow to the face at Costco. Nothing special, yeah. Let's see. Tap says, I knew that press release seemed familiar. So anyways, Tap sent, let me, make sure I'm not sharing anything. I'll show you what Tap sent me on the Rattle Discord. Hopefully I don't, let me see. I'm going to try not to dox myself. Yeah, I can't even do this. But either way, you guys have to take my word for it. So, we got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Journey Together Pokemon Center ETBs. The original pre-order inventory was 120,000. So currently not in stock, but it was 120,000 for the Journey Together ETBs were put up. And then for Battle Styles, I made a post saying how I was picking up Battle Styles. Do you want to know what the current stock of Battle Styles booster boxes is currently on PokemonCenter.com? So maybe I made a bad, well, whatever. Nothing's a bad buy. But 15,858 Battle Styles booster boxes are currently available on PokemonCenter.com. So hopefully Tap could give me an updated number on that. But man, that's a lot of booster boxes. I only got one case. They did ship it as a sealed case though. They didn't break the stop tape. I am interested in Prismatic Evolutions. If you guys have like the FedEx app, somebody reached out to me. FedEx app, they show the packages shipping at 1 pound 2 ounces. Hey, whoa now. That's for the four boxes. I looked at my order. It said 4, quantity 4. I got charged for 4, but man, it's weird that the weight is 1.2 pounds. Go on your FedEx. If you got a sealed case, see if yours is 1.2 pounds. I was like, ooh, both mine says 1.2. His said 1.2. Hopefully that's not true. But who knows? Who knows? We booming. We booming. Elemental said, PK, I recently discovered your channel. Love your energy. And when I'm having a shit day at work, I just use your references on sucking the day's D. Yeah, sometimes you just got to suck the day's dick, you know? That is part of being successful in life. Brad said, maybe they should start thinking about not releasing 4 to 5 sets a year. But Brad, it's a freight train, buddy. I mean, I like it. But keep printing. This is the thing. Keep printing a lot of sets and things are going to keep working. It's that old saying. It works until it doesn't. And everybody hates shit like that because it's just like an obvious thing. But it's like, it's just going to keep working until it doesn't. We haven't really been in a downturn. Like, we have, but we haven't. You know, when I talked about as I walked through the valley, the $79.95 booster boxes, like, there's a line in there where I say I think Chill and Rain booster boxes by the end of that year, when I made that video, will be $110. I said that number. And in December that year, they were $110. It's like, even as bad as it was still good. Everything's good. Everything is just so good. It's really, really hard to point. I mean, the kids could get what they want. They just can't get the newest stuff. I mean, go. I'll sell them Shrouded Fable. Send them my way. You guys want to buy shit at MSRP? I'll sell you some Shrouded Fable at MSRP. Because we're currently selling it for $5 less. We're selling shit at $45. But if you really want stuff and you want stuff at MSRP, we will sell it to you for $50. Like, just come on. Come this way. Reach out to me. Well, it's just like, come on. This thing, it's like you just don't want it. And it's already vintage. Nobody likes vintage. Shrouded Fable, vintage. Namp says, unhinged PK. Yes. Let's see. Trev says, apparently there was a physical fight this morning at Walmart in the Pittsburgh area over Prismatic. I'm just not about that life. If I am, I will make sure I'm repping my Catch 'em All Collectibles gear. And, no, to be honest with you, I don't want to go there. Like, I just don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be on a video. It's just not worth it. But, hey, people are getting their bags right now with their flat brim hats, and it's just fine. It's fine. My hats are all bent. They're all curved. I wear hats inside. I live in a grandma's basement. I am a grown-ass man who talks about Pokemon and deal with Pokemon several hours a week for a preposterous amount of time. And I think about Pokemon majority of my day. And I have people messaging me about Pokemon a lot of times a day. So I'm probably not the best person to ask when it comes to being an adult. But hey, here we are. We got Blasty in the chat. Good old Blasty. I got back to Nikki Savage's super chat. Appreciate it, Nikki Savage. Oh no! I jumped to the bottom of the chat. What cruel, cruel world we live in. Oh, I just lost like an hour of chat. Alright. That's great. Pokemon 151 says, I have like 5 base set Raichus if you want one. Have to promise you'll never sell it for $12 a pack. All those boxes right there. Those long 5-row boxes. So every one of those, every one of those boxes that is under there, I think I'm okay when it comes to ride shoes. This box is on top. This is the box that's not even full. I appreciate the offer on the ride shoes, but I think I'm good. I have a problem, and that problem will never stop. I need all the base set ride shoes. I'm pretty sure the print runs for base set was probably a couple million, so I just still gotta just get a couple million cards, but eventually I'll get there. So Gore said, when scalping starts at distribution, we have a problem. Yeah. Cool Card says, the distro is a problem and people blaming ripping shippers and investors is ridiculous. It's not just distribution. The problem, it's not distribution has something to do with it. But the problem is there's a lie that has been perpetrated for a long time. It's a lie that has been perpetrated by multiple channels. It's a lie that I have perpetrated on this channel. And that lie, and it's a very common lie. That lie is that spend matters at distribution for Pokemon. That was the lie. And it's just not true. That's the problem. I think that's like the biggest issue is that it's just kind of a lie. Because there are so many people that were the sports guys that just because they spend a lot of money that they were able to get it. So it's not a lie in the sense that like if you spend a lot of money you can get distribution. It's not a lie in that sense, but it's a lie. The people that were really busting their ass building spends with distribution and buying all the garbage products and all the garbage packs and really putting in the legwork with distribution. So when the good set, and like that was the lie that we were told. It's like you buy garbage, so when the good stuff comes, you're rewarded. It was a lie. Because the fact of the matter is the truthful sentence is, when the good sets come, you haven't spent shit. You just haven't spent shit. Because even though you've been buying all the garbage, thinking you're doing a good thing, thinking that you're the guy that's doing what everyone said, gotta build spend, gotta buy the garbage products, gotta grind it down, gotta break down these products, sell the singles because one day it will all pay off. It's a lie. It's just a lie. I've perpetrated on this channel, and I've seen so many other channels perpetrate the same lie. Because the fact of the matter is, the same way in this hobby and the same way as life, there's always a bigger fish. The bigger fish, they just get more. It takes a lot. Bigger fish eat more. And you're just a little fish. And in that food chain, you're not at the top. You're not even in the middle. You're probably at the bottom. And hell, if you're worrying about breaking down product to just build spend, you are probably a bottom feeder living off thermal vents. And you're living off the sulfur that comes out of the thermal vents. Like, we don't really know exactly like what they're eating down there, but like that might be you and you don't even realize it, and you've just been perpetrated a lie. And for that, I'm sorry. And other people out there should also say sorry, because it's been a lie. So distribution is the problem in the sense that they should treat people better. The people that buy Pokemon should be treated better, but who am I to say that? Who am I to say that the person who was buying, product nobody wanted, who am I to say that they should be rewarded when their other accounts spend $10 million a year? It's like, you got a sports guy spending $10 million. Like, who are you, PK, to think that these guys should help the little guys buying pre-constructed decks? Like, no, it's a lie. It's a lie, and I help perpetrate it. And sometimes you just gotta man up. I'm sorry for that. A lot of people should say sorry for that. When things aren't booming, maybe that's kind of true, but it's not. The big guys get it all. That's the problem with distribution right now. But I get it. You gotta be nice to your big client. You gotta be nice to the guy that sends $10 million who has a direct line. Their cell phone number doesn't call the front desk when they have a problem. Their phone call is made to like their representative, and their representative, when they see that number come up on speed dial, they don't hit that little red button on their phone. They don't send it to voicemail. They answer that phone. I get it. It's just, that's life. You got the haves and the have-nots, and the haves will always have. But it doesn't matter. Like, eventually, if you work hard enough, maybe you can be a have. But the reality in life, and the same in this hobby, is you may never be the one that haves. You might always be the have-not, but have-nots still live a good life, man. And that's the problem. Everybody wants... It's like the whole collector versus investor versus flipper versus scalp dogger versus Costco fighter versus MMA, Walmart, 2 men enter, one man lives, like that dude was talking about in Philadelphia. I get it. It's a Thunderdome. But, let's see. Chat's off. Chat is unhinged right now. I love it. Radical Ryan said, I would be fine with Pokemon delaying 2025 sets by 3 months so they can go back and reprint Twilight Surgeon and Prismatic. How do you guys feel about it? They're not stopping anything, man. Fat Belly Collect says, I am a seasoned collector. Some of these collectors out there that, not you, Fat Belly, but some of these seasoned collectors, they are seasoned with a bunch of delicious spices, and they are roasted on an open fire right now. Somebody's just slowly turning that roaster, and they're just, you gotta get an even cook on some of these Timmies. But they are nicely seasoned. James from the Alamo City said, I joined in 2020 during the pandemic, and I'm in it for the long haul. And that's it, buddy. Chill Phil said, the increase from 143 to 161, I don't understand what caused this. Their cost of print and supply. So, my video that I talked about, the hobby in 2025, I talked about MSRP increase. I talked about how things would just be more expensive because of MSRP. That was pretty good. And then I was off on a lot of stuff. Maybe I'll have to, that would be something I'll make like a video. Kind of going over that. Let's see. Tabletop Gamer said, that happened to me. I was this close to grabbing a case of Stellar Crown at $100 per box, but I made the decision to grab a case of another set later because I thought I had time. Yes. Time. It's all about time. That's the thing. Like, my channel is always in the day-to-day. I think it's like you pass on some stuff, and then when the time comes, you hit. Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin. How many times did I talk about that shit on my channel? When Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin were available on Pokémon Center. I like Brilliant Stars, but if you watch my videos and people were asking which one should I buy, I look right in the camera and I just say, both. Both were good buys. I don't see both of them staying down, and oh my goodness, you seen Lost Origin lately? It's like, and I was one of those plays where it was expensive. It was an expensive play. You know why it was so expensive? Because every day I would go to bed and be like, this shit can't be available tomorrow on Pokemon Center, and I wake up and it'd be available again, and I'd be like, all right, I guess I'll buy another case. I don't have the money to buy the case, but I guess I'll buy it. I mean, I'm made of a couple $1,000 bills. I'm not made of unlimited $1,000 bills. And PokemonCenter.com with Lost Origin, it was like, oh boy, there's no more $1,000 bills left. But I think this is going to be a good play, and it worked out. But and that's the thing too. I never thought it wouldn't. And if I did, I wouldn't have been doing what I was doing. But man, I came on this channel and I was blue in the face talking about buying Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin at Pokemon Center. And I would just talk about it for weeks. And I'm sure there was a lot of people who were just tired. They're just like, this is repetitive content, PK. You're just talking about Lost Origin being available on Pokemon Center again. We get it. We get it. But I just kept talking about it, and I just kept buying it. And same thing with Brilliant Stars, and it's just like, push the envelope. Push the envelope. Maybe, and you know, at the time, it was like, well, maybe Lost Origin will be the thing that finally breaks me. Nope. No. Nope. Wasn't. Didn't break me at all. Came out that fire way stronger. And a lot of people in the chat were probably doing the same thing. There's a lot of people who were like, we were over leveraging ourselves on Lost Origin and Battle Styles. I know I was. I'm only made of I'm only made of so many $1,000 bills. I'm telling you. I think that's probably the majority of people. We're not all just unlimited wallets. Alright, Cool Card says, already F them with the 151 restart. What is he talking about? So, Cool Card says, all YouTubers with distro are scared to lose distro if they talk. I don't know. I don't think anybody got screwed with 151 restocks, man. 151, it just keeps going up. We got Son of a Mewtwo. I appreciate you, Son of a Mewtwo, being a channel member for all this time. Son of a Mewtwo said, say it louder for the folks in the back. Once again, appreciate you, Son of a Mewtwo. Fat Belly Collect says, Timmy's all aboard. Radical Ryan says, geez, I'm getting a headache. Radical Ryan, you must be new to this channel. Hey, I had the rant. I'm not done ranting yet. I think we made it to we made it to the Son of a Mewtwo comment, if you guys are curious where we're at. Son of a Mewtwo said, Pokemon is the world's most profitable, most recognizable IP. It's bigger than Nike. It's not going anywhere. It's not anytime soon. And it's going to... This is my thing. It's like, we can cut in half. The hobby could cut in half. A lot of people don't want to hear that. But we could cut in half, and we're in a good place. We're in a... You know, it's... How far back can we go? How much of a pullback can we have? We could have a huge pullback right now, and it just doesn't really... I mean, Journey Together booster boxes on Pokemon Center sold out at 161. Like, let's not lose perspective, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Timmies. Like, Fowbelly Collect says, population reports will matter when Pokemon stops making and printing cards. Maybe. I got a shelf full of dead TCGs over there, and you know what? A lot of those TCGs I still had to pay money for, because they're not free. I mean, I might be the only buyer of some of this shit, but it's not free. Now, maybe that's not a good comparison, but I don't know. It'd be interesting. Let's see. Nobody's talking about the California wildfires, too. It's been a terrible tragedy. I'd be very curious how much Pokemon product got wiped out in California. It's probably a lot. I've already heard rumblings about people with big collections getting wiped out. It's like... That's another thing, too. It's... You talk about, like, arbitrage of this product, too, and just what shit gets wiped out just naturally, you know? People that die, people, you know, fires that go through, floods that take out basements and shit. It's just like... There's a finite life cycle on a lot of this stuff, but there's a lot of it, too. But this is the problem we're running into with a lot of stuff. There's a lot of it, but there's a lot of people that want it, and a lot... And I've already mentioned this on previous slides, but I'll mention it again. The thing about Pokemon, which is really driving the investability in it, is confidence in the product. I think that is probably the number one biggest driver, is people are just confident in what they have. Because now if you have anything Sword and Shield, except for maybe Battle Styles, but pretty much anything Sword and Shield or older, it's all gone up. And a lot of this stuff might still be ticking up. I don't even know how many times I've said this now. I got a decent. Well, I have a position. Nothing's decent. I don't have anything that's decent, but I have a position in Evolving Skies. I have a couple booster boxes of a bunch of different products, and people always ask me like, PK, are you selling your Evolving Skies? And my answer is just like, no. I didn't sell it at $10 a pack. I didn't sell it at 15. I'm not selling it at 20. I probably won't sell it at 25. And the answer is like, why aren't you selling it? It's just like, I have a lot of confidence in certain products. Evolving Skies is one of the products that I have confidence in. Now, my gains might... You can make the argument now. This is where you get into the semantics. Maybe my gains would be better if I sell that and invested into, like, the newest, shiniest stuff, because Evolving Skies is vintage at this point. Don't forget that. So maybe I just need to sell that and dump my money. And you know what? Maybe. But it's just like... I'm also running into a lot of mental barriers, a lot of mental roadblocks, because I get to the point where if I do want to sell it, I understand I can never replace this. Does that make sense? Like, if you got a case of Evolving Skies booster boxes and you make the decision to sell it, one, I'm not selling it with the theory that this thing is going to half in price. I'm selling it with the theory of, I still think this thing is going to go up, but I think I could better utilize my money now. So if I think I could better utilize my money now, then it means that I'm probably never going to own that thing again. Welcome to the deep, dark part of the hobby where the collector meets the investor, meets the flipper, meets the grandma. Because you're living in her basement and you're paying rent, and it's like grandma's boy, and she doesn't own a microwave, and you got to cook everything in the stove. That's my life. That's a lot of people's lives. All right. Catch 'em All says, I haven't held cash in quite a while. The Pole Father said, history repeats itself again. Sell your Prismatic out of the gates and buy it when it becomes easily available. Yeah, I think it's anybody who is buying Prismatic right now to sit on and invest in are wild. But that's the thing. There's a lot of people who bought Prismatic at 120, 150 for pre-release, and I know you guys might not believe this, but maybe some of you will. But there is a large chunk of people that bought Prismatic at 120, 150, and they bought it at those prices for investments. Even though you can get them on your Walmarts and your Targets, and I mean, there is a percentage of people out there that bought those things at 120 for an investment, and those will be the people that get wrecked. And they will not understand when they go on to channels like this, and we are just... my basement doesn't have high ceilings, but if I could skip right now, and I could pan out this camera, I would just skip. Skip. I'm a grown-ass man, and I would just skip. It would be the dumbest thing you've ever seen, but I would just skip. I wish I could paint my floors yellow and turn them into yellow bricks, and I would just skip around my basement, around the yellow brick road, off to see the wizard. That would be me, and I'd just be flailing my arms up, and then people would be like, why is PK so happy? I just bought Prismatic ETBs at 120 and now they're $60, $70 in ETB. Why is PK happy? Why does he think this is still a strong market? And my answer would be because they're still $60 ETBs. They're still $70 ETBs. I will make money in this hobby if cards are worth $1 million, and I will make money in this hobby if cards are worth 20 cents. But there will just be some people won't understand it. And then when the crash comes, they'll get hurt. The people that make the money in the gold rushes are always... the people that made the most money were the people that sold the shovels. Might not be selling the shovels, but I'll be there. I'll watch you dig. Alright. Nikki Slabbage said, Captain Timmy is my hero. Salutes to old Captain Timmy. Let's see. Basic Trainer says, I feel like the mods need the ability to pull the stream to protect PK. Oh, good old Basic Trainer. Basic Trainer, we need you on the chat, man. I think the time has come. Pokemon density. Now, alright, this is another thing that I talked about. I mentioned price is going to go down. but this is another thing. TikTok brains, people might just be tuning in right now, or they might not have heard what I said earlier. People think that it's going to be in 3 weeks. Remember how I went off on that tangent earlier? I was like, oh, one person said that we're going to have restocks in 3 weeks, and it's going to, like, save Prismatic, and it's going to save the hobby. It's not going to be 3 weeks. So when Pokemon Dentist says a comment like, sell my Prismatic now or wait a month and sell it at 200 plus, there's a lot of validity to that. Like, you could see, because right now everything's getting opened up. Everything is being cannibalized by streamers. Streamers are the ones that are really paying this high premium get it packs. I mean, we're paying 95, and when I say we, I mean Dan, or the channel, or whatever. You know what I mean. I say we interchangeably, but we, as in the stream team from Fanatics, we were paying $95 a booster box. Or, excuse me, $95 in ETB. Obviously, there's no booster boxes for Prismatic, but we are currently paying $95. So if you would like to sell us your Prismatic, reach out to us, and we'll pay you $95 for your ETBs, for your packs. We are buying that. We are going to be selling that, and there's going to be 100 other people just like us doing the exact same thing. So we are inadvertently creating that demand. We are creating that secondary market price, but then there's always buyers, there's sellers, and there's just not going to be restocks for the near term. Now, forever is a long time. Some people don't even believe in the word forever, but forever is a long time. So there's going to be a lot of this stuff hitting out, but it's not going to be instant. So to say that you might see 200, but now this is the thing, Pokemon Dentist. He goes, sell my Prismatic now or wait a month and sell at 200. You'll never be able to time the top. So when it hits 200, do you write the same comment and say, sell my Prismatic now at 200 or wait a month for 250? That might be in a month from now, you're like, I could get 200 out of it, but do I want to wait another month and I get 250? And then it's just always dragging your feet. Nobody in this hobby has ever went broke taking profits. I say that a million times. Nobody has ever gone broke taking profits. Now, there's always the second part, because nothing is ever black and white. It's always the gray area in between. It's like, well, when you take that profits, what are you doing with your money? If you're paying off your credit card that's got a 1,000% interest rate, you're probably doing the good buy there. But if you don't have credit card debt, you're not over leveraged, and you sell out a Prismatic, it's just, well, what are you going to buy next? That's the question. It's like, well, what are you going to buy next? There's a lot of stuff that's available. But then people might... Semantics, man. Snowy said, wait 2 years, Pokemon Dentist. It will be $600. There you go. Poke Collect Brett said he did Whatnot giveaways and sold on Whatnot auctions. Yeah. Do we know who it was? Did anybody figure out, like, what guy it was? Let's see. Tabletop Gamer said, do you only count Pokemon cards as this hobby? I'm not sure what I said. Snowy said, no cap, the only people who lost money are people who open packs. I mean, I guess there's... Yeah, I mean, you can lose money opening packs for sure. It's a gamble, though. You can also make... I mean... Pokemon is that gambling aspect. Pokemon is in my opinion, 1-2, please don't sue. Pokemon is kind of in the market of gambling because inherently, mystery products are kind of gambling, and a Pokemon product is, by kind of definition, in my opinion, a mystery product. It's a mystery product. You don't know what's going to be in it. You can... Take Evolving Skies. We love Evolving Skies. Talk about Evolving Skies all the time. Moonbreons. Do I have a Moonbreon? I have a Moonbreon. Nope, I don't have a Moonbreon. No, I definitely got a Moonbreon. What? Oh. Moonbreon. Umbreons. Anyways, take Evolving Skies, $20 pack. You could brick, and you pull another... I don't know. What are you going to pull? Another Ampharos. You're going to rub his belly for good luck. Shout out to Rattle Pokemon. You pull a non-hollow Ampharos. You rub his belly for good luck, and you say, I'm going to test my luck one more time. Another pack. That's $20 for the first pack. $20 for the second one. You get nothing in both. Or, it's the ultimate gamble. One of those two packs has a Moonbreon, and you just hit yourself a $3,000 card in PSA 10 if you grade it, and it's clean. Yeah. Como said, the losers are small losers, losing $5 on overpaying. Yeah. So, but like that's the thing about this hobby too, is this hobby quickly, if you let it get out of control, it nickels and dimes you. You could really quickly get nickeled and dimed in this hobby, where it's just $1 here, $5 here, $10 here, $2 here, $3, $5, $10, $5, you know, and then buying it. It's just, this hobby is something, right? It's just something. All right. So Red's card case talking about Pokemon Center ETB says, my ETB case is shipped, but I still have the money in my account. Very weird on Pokemon. Yeah, so mine are still pending, but they've also shipped. And I could see that the tracking that they're already moving. Snowy says, why is PK entering his villain saga? Am I being a villain in this situation? Maybe I'm the villain. You live long enough to see yourself become the villain, I guess. Pokemon Classic said, late to the chat, but I want to drop in and wish everyone well. Appreciate you all. Pokemon Classics, appreciate you, buddy. Pokemon Classics, if you guys don't know, Pokemon Classics is a true OG of this hobby. Some of the best well-edited content. Pokemon Classic said, what day is the base set break? So we will be opening a base set booster box on Fanatic on January 25th. Mr. Dan Catchball Collectible will be right here, and we will be live on YouTube before. Kind of doing a preemptive live, just kind of talking hobby, shooting the shit, and then we'll funnel people over there, and we'll probably just keep it going. It's going to be fun. It was fun the first time. It's going to be fun this time. Dan's going to be here. His family's going to be with him, so that'll be a lot of fun. His family will get to meet the PK family. Let's see. Yeah, people are looking at prices just a couple months ago. Cool Card says, everyone wants a new thing. Collecting is a marathon, not a sprint. You just want to... I've been saying that marathon line forever, yeah. But I definitely agree. If you want to sprint, go play a video game and stop collecting, yeah. People are saying AI PK, yes. James from the Alamo City said, I have 3 cases of the 4 Prismatic PCB ETBs en route from FedEx. Anyone else get lucky before the cap of 2? Yes. So I got 2 cases coming. Both should be 4. And I keep saying the word cases, but I don't even know if they're going to be cases. I hope they're going to be cases. And there might be some really weird premium to a case premium. We'll see. So Goru said, thank you, PK and Rattle. Get in my 4 Prismatic Pokemon Center ETBs. Hopefully a sealed case. And that's another thing. Tomorrow, they will be put back up. Let's see. Nikki Slavage said, after PK's live, check out Pokemonster Podcast. Appreciate the super chat there, Mr. Nikki Slavage. Pole Father said, PK, remember your videos where it was just pictures? Yep, feels like a dinosaur in this hobby, yeah. Memes. This is a meme channel. People think that's a derogatory term, that you're a meme channel. No, no, no. I am a meme channel. I mean that in a literal sense. All right. Did I make it? Oh, man. I'm not even close to that bottom. How much? What is going on, chat? You guys are... Holy cow, the chat is wild right now. James from Alamo City said that Costco video showing the bull run for the Bloomin' Waters collection boxes was wrong and disgusting. That is the world we live in, man. You give people free money, they're going to take it. And the only reason they could do that is because there's somebody buying. Kyle's Emperor said, earlier last year you mentioned this is the acquisition phase and you showed off a Rockets Articuno EX. I actually picked it up during that time. Well, it was definitely early last year was 1,000,000% the acquisition phase. And if anybody watched that video and you acquired at the beginning of last year, well, guess what? You're welcome. Not to say that that was me, but obviously you guys are doing all these decisions on your own, but that's the thing. It's just like Rev said, everyone is to take partial blame in this hobby, including myself. Now, I don't think I have the reach, quoting what other people are saying, but I will not sit here and say I don't, where other people will tell you they don't. Fresh Stat says, I blame the Costco guys entering the hobby. Yeah. PokeKid said, he hates when distro becomes investors. Yeah. Distro is becoming investors. They're playing the same game, but it's, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. So, Omnipotent says, I think about the opportunity cost of all those people taking time off of work to get 5 to 10 boxes of Bloomin' Waters, waiting hours in line and waiting to sell, ship, meet up, etc. If you don't have a job, I mean, it's a lot of money. But yeah, it's definitely wouldn't be worth my time. Antonio P. said, Pokemon needs to get rid of distro and have everyone buy directly through Pokemon Center. My entire South Florida region is getting backdoored to one guy with no job who has been up to it since celebrations. It's rough, man. Let's see. So, Spank Doodle Gaming said, PK, 20 years from now, what age bracket is buying Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet at the market values? Is it all of us, the young adults, both? I mean, I guess we do have an example of something that is 20 years old in the hobby. It's who's buying base set. You know, everyone. I mean, shout out to Dan Catchmall Collectibles. In his most recent live, Dan talked about the base set box that we're going to be breaking on the 25th. Once again, shameless plug. We're going to be breaking that base set booster box, and Dan's son asked him what it was, and Dan told him, he said, oh, I got a base set booster box. And his son said, wow, you got a base set booster box? Can we open a pack? And Dan said, no, well, we can't open a pack. But his son knew what base set was. Think about that. His son is like 6 or 7. I'm sure his son can't tell you Dragons Exalted. I'm sure his son can't tell you Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Triumphant. Probably can't tell you Diamond and Pearl Secret Wonders. Probably can't tell you EX Emerald. Probably can't tell you Unseen Force. Maybe he knows about the Legendary Dogs. Everyone knows about the Legendary Dogs. But I bet you can't tell you, like, some of those sets. Probably can't. Or any of the early Nintendos before we get to Team Rocket Returns. Ruby Sapphire, Sandstorm, Dragon, Team Aqua versus Team Magma, Hidden Legends, Fire Red Leaf Green. I bet you if he named any of those sets, he would have no clue. But he knew base set. So, to ask that question about what about Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, will kids know it? And I would say in 20 years from now, the question is, will kids know what a Moonbryon is in 20 years? And I don't know. I don't know what, because when you think about like big hits, like Charizard level X, does a kid today know what a Charizard level X is? Probably not. Does a kid today know that, speaking of Raichu, that Raichu's number 83 out of 82 for Team Rocket? It's the only secret rare in Team Rocket. The first ever secret rare. Shout out to the Ivy Pikachu, arguably first edition Stamp Jungle. Yeah, we're not going there. But do they know that? Does a kid nowadays know a Aquapolis Kingdra? You know? It's like, I don't know if a little kid today knows the Aquapolis Crystal Kingdra, you know? So it's, while kids today know what base set is 20 years after the fact, I just don't know if, like, Paradox Riff, if some little kid is going to be able to see a Paradox Riff SIR and go, oh my god, that's Paradox Riff? Can we, yeah, it's going to be hard to say. 20 years is a long time, man. You know how vintage stuff gets after 20 years? Surgeon Sparks is vintage. Now we're talking 20 years from now, what this shit's going to be. What are people going to look back on it, young adults? I mean, the adults in the hobby, that's the thing too, is we don't have, like, a real mature retirement age. Like, yeah, Gary King Pokemon. Gary King Pokemon is the outlier, you know? If we're talking about, like, you know, we're talking about, like, a distribution graph, like, Gary's way out here. He's that little dot, you know, he's that hardcore outlier. So, let's see. Derek says, I bid up Bloomin' Waters on TCG Player to fuel more Costco fights. Am I evil? We're all evil. Pokenufo said, I bought a case of Brilliant Stars just because you were talking about it, man. How is old Brilliant Stars doing? Let's see. Brilliant Stars. Let's see, Brilliant Stars booster box. Look at this. Oh. Oh, that wasn't a long time ago. We're not talking this shit was on Pokemon Center like 5 years ago. We're not saying you got to go in a time machine and travel back to 2018 to pick up Brilliant Stars. No. No. Look at this chart right now. You remember this was the one that was the worst performer? Remember when Brilliant Stars was a bad performer? You picked up a case on Pokemon Center. Like, who's better than you right now? You doubled your money. You picked this box up at $143. It's $298. You doubled your money. In what, a year's time? Congrats, dude. See, I'm partially at fault. I'm willing to admit that comment right there, but I will admit it. I'm at fault. Just like PokeRev said at the end of his video, everybody is partially at fault. That is awesome, though, man. Pokenufo, that is awesome that you are doubled up on that case. But I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I don't have an effect on the market. Or some people will. Ghost Train Conductor 1989 says, I love how everyone brings up the Frosted Caribou video, which were cringe but fail to bring up how Gary was bashing her and telling her other to just order online, and then literally like a week later, hey man, we're making videos crying saying that same thing of McDonald's cards. Is hypocrisy real? I don't remember the McDonald's thing. James said, Evolving Skies to 2K by March. Good question. Who knows? I mean, that's really vintage. Evolving Skies is ultra vintage. There's different levels. We got vintage, super vintage, ultra vintage, mega vintage, super secret squirrel club vintage. It's all the vintage. Everything's vintage. Spanky Doodle Gavin said, everything is going up. That's the problem with Pokemon investing right now. It's just everybody's genius. Everyone. You just... A broken clock is right twice a day, and right now, you can't be wrong. How bad is that? Like, you can't be wrong. Now, be interested when you could start being wrong. It'll be interesting when the market starts to pull back. It'll be interesting to see where the vice is there. It'll be interesting to see what the thumbnails are. Because I'll wait for the market is crashing thumbnails, and then that will prove a lot to me. It'll be like, oh, okay, finally, I see what you're doing there. I finally caught you, you know? Anybody can navigate a market going up. Anybody. Buy. Buy or buy. Do or do not. There is no try. Buy or buy. Everybody's right when everything's going up. Problem is people are building in gains now too. Like Brilliant Stars booster boxes. I said, I just told you guys what I'm doing. I was buying them on PokemonCenter.com. Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin, till I was putting myself in an uncomfortable amount of just $1,000 bills. I told you I don't have infinite, and it was a real questionable. But looking at it, it's like, well, what happens when Brilliant Stars, does it ever 50%? Does it cut in half? And then where does that bring me? Back to even? What's the chances of Brilliant Stars now cutting in half? And it's like, low. And it's, well, why is it low? It's what I told you earlier, is the amount of people that are going to stick around are still higher than the people that we started 2024 with. And then what happens when those people turn? And then are we going to just start to see these 5-year chunks? 2016, I have Pokemon Go, Evolutions. But still, it's like Fates Collide, Steam Siege before that, Breakthrough, Breakpoint. I mean, good, yeah, okay. Going in the Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon Base, Guardians Rising, Crimson Invasion. Oh, okay, I get it. Bah. There's a weak time. People were in, people were out. And then moving into 2020, it's like, well, what happened right before 2020? People started funneling in. 2019, a lot of people came in. Well, what sets were released in 2019? Well, they introduced tag teams. Team Up, Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, Cosmic Eclipse. 4 banger sets. Moving into Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage. Okay. Welcome to the beginning of an era. Logan Paul Box Break 2020. Printers shut down in March of 2020. That's the big catalyst. That's a catalyst. That's a big catalyst. Printers shut down. Pokemon, there just weren't cards being printed. Artificial supply. That's why I told you, if the amount of stuff that existed in 2020 existed today, if we had those print runs, when you literally had printers shut down, because you got to remember, non-essential businesses shut down during COVID. Printing Pokemon cards was not considered an essential business. So the printers that are right now on the burr mode, they went on off mode. Okay? There was nothing being printed. Sorry. Shiny cardboard was not an essential, material. So we had a period of time where the printers were just off. And supply was just artificially low. And it took a while to get those reprints. And it took a long time. It took a year to really see those reprints kick in and to really have any effect on the market. Now, if you took that print supply, which I mentioned earlier in today's video, and put that print supply here, Prismatic Evolutions, you think $150 ETB is bad? $1,000. Maybe, who knows? I mean, that Umbreon would be $10,000. It would be crazy because no one would have it. Nobody could get it. It would be so sought after, so in demand, because it's the newest thing. It's the only modern set. There's only one modern set nowadays. Tabletop Game says, oh, I love TCGs. What do you have? I got them all. I got a big shelf. It goes pretty deep. Yamamoto said, pop reports matter, except apparently for modern Pokemon collectors. Yeah. Hey, I learned that. I learned that lesson a couple years ago. The moderner, the better, man. Moderner, the better. Pokemon Center, for the people who weren't here during the Van Gogh, they told us tons of times they got us with print runs and nothing. Paldean Fates ETBs are $90. $100 seems very fair, smart money. Still buying. Oh, Paldean Fates, yeah. Well, here, Pokemon Center, that is a great example. So you just talked about Paldean Fates. Do you remember when they had the 151 mini tins at Costco? And everybody would run in and they would take all the 151 mini tins and they would leave the Paldean Fates. Do you remember that? That wasn't that long ago. Where, Paldean Fates was considered trash. See, this is another thing. Maybe there's people even hopping in right now today and don't realize that the 151 mini tins got reprinted before the Bloom and Water, and then we still saw hype going for those 151 mini tins. But people would run in, only grab the 151, and yeah, the Paldean Fates, that shit might have well been, I don't even know, just trash, garbage. They just would leave those boxes. Nobody wanted to touch them. There'd be like the one grandma would walk by. She didn't know what she was grabbing. She just followed the mob of people. It's like, you follow the mob. That's the thing too. It's, you follow the mob. There's a mob mentality that goes on in the hobby, and it's just, the mob moves like this. It's like a zombie horde. That's all it is. Let's see. People are saying Evolving Skies is goated. Yes. Let's see. Spanky Doodle Dandy said Evolving Skies will be cemented in TCG history as one of the greatest and most culturally impacted sets to ever come into the hobby. That is a hot take, but I think there is a shred of validity to that. Let's see. Holy cow. Mike said the Shining Legends Mewtwo GX, so the Mewtwo from Shining Legends, sold for $2,309. I knew I should have picked him up. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. That's it. You could always look in the rearview mirror. What a beautiful card. Wow. All right. I think I'm done. All right. Yeah, Elementary said, yep, no recall. Going to Costco to grab 151 and Paldean Fates was slept on. It was. Alright, I talked. I ranted. I don't know why you guys watch this. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Do me a favor, become a channel member. I don't know, why not? Why not? Become a channel member. We like Pokemon cards. We like to talk. If you appreciate this channel, support the channel, or don't. I don't care. What else? I love you guys. January 25th, we will be doing a base set booster box break. Other than that, I'm going to call it a day. Alright, guys. Love you guys all. Be safe. And as always, catch you on the next video. That was a good rant. See, sometimes you just got to get the rant out of your system. It felt good. It felt good. God, I hope there's not another press release by Pokemon tomorrow. Might have to have emergency live. Alright, later guys.